Hi, everyone. My name is Katrina Jefferson, and I am the Director of Marketing and Partnerships at EnCorps. And today we are spotlighting Danna Pelaez. Danna is a master's student in anthrozoology at Canisius University. She's currently working at the Pasadena Humane Society and previously worked at Pasadena Audubon. Most recently, she just completed the EnCorps Fellow program. And I had the experience of being in classroom with her alongside one of our other program managers and saw her teaching her first class. So, Danna, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course. I want to learn more about, your experience in classroom. You recently taught an AP bio class at Pasadena High School. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Sure. Yeah, so I taught a lesson on mitosis, so cell division, including binary fission. And it was exciting to teach the students something new, something that they haven't learned before, but it was also a little nerve-wracking being the person with all the knowledge, but it was really fun putting together a fun lesson. I tried to make it colorful and on brand. Like I feel like it
Yeah.
reflected me, very colorful, very pink. So yeah, it was a great experience and a great introduction into teaching.
And I really like that what you said, taking it and keeping it on brand with yourself. Like that's so important. We find that, you observe certain teachers, and I'm sure you've seen different methods and different things being used, but it's so important to authentically come as who you are because I feel like the students resonate more with teachers that are able to do that. And that's exactly why we, love our fellows so much. So that's so amazing. Now tell me this, as a student, getting a degree in anthrozoology, what did you find were the differences in and similarities in what you are currently learning? And how could you apply your current instruction into the classroom?
Sure. So my degree is the relationship between people and animals, and I'm particularly interested in how children interact with animals and how children interact with wildlife. So ideally, in my perfect setting, I would be able to have students go outside of the classroom and observe the wildlife that is immediately surrounding us. Whenever I'm on Pasadena's high school's campus, I'm always observing the birds. And the other day, I saw a cedar waxwing. So ideally, I would go out and witness wildlife outside. But in the classroom, I would love to bring in tidbits about like work that I've done specifically with animals and how the topics that we are covering in the classroom relate to real world situations. So I currently work with wildlife. So just combining those two worlds is something that I would love to do in my own classroom.
That is so great. That is so great. And the next question I have is around the grade level that you taught. Did you feel that that grade level for that classroom was on par with what your plan was? And then tell us like a little bit about like some things that you could have possibly done differently. Like usually I notice that like whenever I'm in classroom and I'm teaching something, and especially if it's whether it's being a sub teacher or my own lesson, there's always something that I find like that last 20 minutes where I look back and go, God, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have said this, you know? And of course you can incorporate that later, most likely, but was there anything like that you felt like you could have done differently?
Yeah, I could have gone slower.
Okay.
I
Was
was
that mostly because of nerves?
I think it was mostly because of nerves that like I just wanted to get through the whole lesson and make sure that I didn't run out of time and that they had time to work on their worksheet after class. So next time I would slow down. Like there really is no rush. I just need to get through the lesson and they can work a little bit on their worksheet and then take it home for homework, work on it the next day. But yeah, I wanted to slow down. I wanted to incorporate more fun facts about cells and how they divide. Because there's like the base of the lesson, like just what they need to learn. But there's always so much more, especially when it comes to biology. Like, we can talk about how if a chromosome is different in humans, what that will change. If a chromosome is different in animals, what that might change. So there's so much more that I could have talked about, but nerves really got to me.
And I
Yeah.
think it happens to the best of us. I think that feel like that's pretty common. So
Mm-hmm.
I still think you did an incredible job. So
Thank you.
amazing. Shout out there. So now a little bit about yourself and your inspiration. What inspired you to take the pathway of getting a master's degree in the field that you selected? And and can you give us a little bit of history on like what also led you to get your initial college degree?
Sure. So I got my college degree in biology and I minored in East Asian studies. I always knew I wanted to work with animals. I just wasn't sure what type. I initially thought I wanted to be a vet and work with domestics, cats and dogs. But in high school, I was introduced to wildlife rehabilitation and zookeeping, and I realized, oh, exotics and wildlife are really interesting.
Yeah.
So that's the path that I took, and I'm currently in wildlife rehabilitation at an animal shelter. And because of that, I wanted to learn more, like the ethics and the theories behind how humans interact with animals, and that's what led me to get my master's in anthrozoology. And my current position at the animal shelter involves working with children and teaching them about the work that we do, and how we could be good stewards for the environment and for the ecosystem. And that ignited like a
Mm.
passion for teaching. Like I want to pursue this, maybe not in this informal way, maybe more in an formal way. So that's how I found EnCorps to transition from my current STEM job to teaching STEM.
That's so great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, what would you tell someone new who was kind of pondering teaching and maybe interested in our Encore program?
I tell them to give it a shot. It doesn't hurt. It's only 2 hours out of your week, and observing the teacher and creating relationships with the students is really meaningful, and you can learn a lot. And if you don't apply those skills to teaching, you can always apply the skills to your current work. So I feel a lot better, and I feel that I can teach my current peers and students at my work about what I do now. So I've learned a lot, and I have decided to continue and pursue teaching. So if you're thinking about it, just try it out, and you don't have to make up your mind right away.
Well, I really appreciate that feedback, Dana, and I'm sure everyone watching appreciates that as well. Thank you so much for taking the time today. And anyone out there, if you're interested in talking to us or learning more about our fellow program or our Encore STEMX Tutors program, just visit www.encore.org. Thank you so much.